Thought she was dead, but she had just gotten too cold. So I put her in my hand, blew on her, let my body heat warm her up. So I'm going to give her a little honey. Put some honey in my palm. She went straight to it. She was actually crawling up my finger in the other direction. Hey, this is Kirk with Brother B's Bees, and I welcome you to our video today. I am out in my shop here on Christmas Eve, and I'm working on retrofitting a box. I've got a queen I'm trying to save, and so I put her in a small, one of those plastic temporary transport nuke hives. And I have introduced a frame of bees with brood. So there's probably a couple of hundred or so, maybe 300 bees on the frame. Plus there's probably another 100 that are in the cell. So when that brood hatches out, you know, you'll be between 300 or 400 bees. And so I'm just trying to save that queen and start a new colony. The problem is it's winter and so it's cold. So I right now have that nuke taped up and in my mud room, but I need to move it back outside so that on warm days they can forage, so they can do cleansing flights, etc. But I've got two potential problems. First of all, that nuke it's got thin plastic sides, so there's a real danger of them freezing because they're so small. Also, I've got the issue of, because they're small, of the colony or hive being robbed out. So what I'm trying to do is take one of my medium boxes and put in some dividers so that I can make it smaller, and kind of in the middle I can put 4 or 5 frames that I have in this nuke box, and then on the outside of those frames and whatever space is left in the box, I can put some cotton balls that I saved from some area cotton fields after they had reaped their harvest. Usually there's a lot of cotton all along the side of the road. So I'm just trying to make a box that they can keep warm. I also want a very small entrance at the front of the box so that it is very, very difficult for them to be robbed out. Even though they're small in number, if the entrance into the hive is small, then the guard bees can still guard the entrance. So that's what I'm working on today. Thanks for joining us. Okay, let me talk about what I've done here. I'm trying to create a little nuke within a medium hive box. I'm using an old solid bottom because it's a small group of bees I'm going to put in here, small colony, and it's still winter. And so I want to make sure, one of my goals in how I do this is to make sure that they don't freeze. So I want a solid bottom. And I've got it set up for 4 frames. That's probably how I'll start them, with 4 frames. And what I've done, all I've done is just taken some junk wood and create movable solid wooden barriers. And I've got a space in here that I will fill with cotton, and do the same thing over on this side. And so I'll start off with 4 frames. I've got it set up such that it will easily expand to 6 frames. Of course, by having cotton in there, it's very easy to just slide it over. I don't even have to, really do anything with the cotton. It's pliable, and it will just move over as I slide the frames out. So I can easily take it from 4 frame to a 6 frame. I can actually make it as small as I want to. These will slide over, but you can see very easily I have a nice compact 6 frame. If I need to go to 7 or 8, then I can just pop out one of these, or I can slide in another barrier that doesn't have such a wide top on it. But what this will allow me to do is to let this small colony grow as spring allows them to do so. Another thing I've done, most of your entrance reducers kind of offset the entrances. So you end up with a wider entrance over here or a small one over here. Well, since my nuke is in the middle of the hive, and the reason I put it in the middle of the hive is a couple of reasons. One, it allows me to insulate both sides, but also it leaves the middle open so that when I put my cover on, or my internal cover, this is just the internal cover. I have an outer cover that I'll put on top of this. But I can put my internal cover on, and by it being in the middle of the hive, I still have this opening so I can put a dry sugar or whatever feeds I need to on this to help make sure the hive has, or the colony has, plenty of food to get through the winter. And so I wanted my nuke to be in the middle of this box. And so I just created a little makeshift entrance reducer that puts a small opening in the middle. Now, the reason I want a small opening is this is a small colony, and while one of my primary concerns is that they would freeze to death, another concern is that they would be robbed out because they are small. So I want a very, very small opening that will be fairly easy for them to defend, and so that's why this is set up like it is. So I'll go back and paint this, and of course I've got a lid I'll put on it. So again, it allows me to create a warm hive. The box I've got them in now, it's just a temporary portable plastic nuke box that I just don't think is going to be able to stand up this winter. So this will allow me to put them into a box that better fits the size of the colony, and we'll see if they survive the winter. But either way, I've got something that maybe I can use down the road. I can adjust its size, and they can just stay in that box, and in the spring when they grow, then I can just expand out and they can stay right here in this same box, and I don't have to move them around. So we'll try it and see how it works. I'm out here in my shop listening to Candle on the Water, sung by Alabama. One of the co-writers is the show's area's own Gary Baker. Had the privilege of hearing Gary in concert on a couple of occasions. He performed for us at Heritage Christian along with Marie Osmond, and also he and some of his songwriting friends do a great Christmas show for a local charity. But what I'm doing today is doing what a lot of beekeepers do in the winter, and that is prepping equipment for the spring. In the spring here in Alabama, it gets warm. In fact, we really don't even have a cold winter. So starting in February and March, the hives start booming, and so you have to have all of your equipment ready for that explosion or growth in population so that you can add boxes, you can do splits, you'll be catching swarms and so forth. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing some painting. This is a screen bottom for a hive. I purchased the equipment from Albert Zook, a local Amish beekeeper in Etheridge, Tennessee. And so I'm just doing some painting today, and the success of the spring depends on the work you do during the winter. And so that's what I'm doing today. Thank you for joining me on Brother B's Bees.